Hey everyone, see Avid's in here, Fishing Frustrations, Nick, Sogo, welcome guys. Big Mike, Austin, I hope you get to feeling better. Brent, Fins and Foul, hey Sampy. Gonna give it a minute, let people get the notifications, let them get in. Uh, Basically gonna go over some tackle. I know a lot of you guys are veterans. Uh, you've been at this for a while, but the catfish community is really growing, and see a lot of new people coming in, and see a lot of people asking questions in chat on the live streams and stuff about tackle. So definitely want to go through and discuss some tackle. Hey, Tony Harrison. Kind of give people an idea. Hey, Steve Austin. Kind of give people an idea, kind of help them out. We'll give everyone a little bit of time to get in here. For those of y'all that don't know, hey, Donald, KY Redneck Outdoors, welcome. That haven't seen me around a lot. I've been working a lot of hours, so I haven't been in the live streams as much as I was. Hopefully, pretty soon we'll get caught up. Hey, Michael Williams, to where I can do at least 60 hours and try and keep it at 60 hours a week, because I've been working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week and trying to see a light at the end of the tunnel. So tonight we're basically going to go over tackle, guys, because I see there's a lot of questions in the live streams and stuff. And I know, we've got people that have been doing this for years, or veterans. We got new people coming in. And hey, Eddie Gross, welcome. Anytime you get a chance to help one of the new guys, I would appreciate you taking your time to answer any questions they have and try and help them out. Okay. The first thing we're going to start with tonight is hooks. Hey, Kelly B, welcome. I get a lot of questions about hooks. People are always asking, what hook do you use? The three most popular types of hook are the J hook. Me, I'm a fan of the circle hook. And you also have the kale hook. Now, the J hooks are more the old traditional hooks people start out with. I used them for years. A lot of people have. These are the hooks where you can like rip the lips off the fish. You can set the hook. They do not automatically set themselves. You definitely have to set the hook. But I used them for years, but my favorite now, I went to circle hooks. I know some people like the kale hooks because you can still set the hook with them as well. The circle hooks, you really don't want to set the hook. Now, if you got a fish that's taking line and you're feeding it to them, you can kind of slowly lift that rod and put some pressure on them, but you don't want to do the ripping its lips off hook set. And a lot of times with the circle hook, guys, if you try and set the hook, it's like a double-edged sword. A lot of the times on the bigger fish, you'll end up pulling the bait out of their mouth. So Big Mike's like just reel down. Yeah, Big Mike, I don't even reel down. I'll sit there and let that fish load that rod completely up. And I have great hook sets with the circle hook. The reason I went, hey, James Kirkpatrick, welcome. The reason I went to the circle hooks for me, guys, is I fish with multiple rods, and a lot of the times I'd be messing with one rod and the fish would hit another. Hey, Elizabella Kirkpatrick, welcome. I missed a lot of fish with the J hooks because I was trying to deal with one rod and they'd hit another. So with the circle hooks, it kind of eliminates a lot of that. You still will have some get away, but your hookup ratio is much better. Hey, Dave, welcome. I got some different hooks and stuff I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to go through. And what I like in the circle hook, I like the octopus style circle hook. And what that means, instead of that eye being in line with that shank, it's bent back at an angle. This is easier for snelling hooks. I like it a lot. It's a lot easier when you snell. And if you're using circle hooks, guys, and you're not snelling your hook, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You need to snell your circle hooks. It will improve your hookup ratio 150%. Another thing, I don't know if y'all see that. See how that point is offset from that shank? This is an offset octopus circle hook. And this particular hook here is from Uncle Lou's. But all my hooks, and it's personal preference, guys. A lot of guys will use just the inline circle hook without the offset. I feel like the offset circle hook gives me better hookups. And the octopus style, like I said earlier, it makes snelling the hook a lot easier. And there's different sizes when you buy your hooks. Not all of them are the same. Like this hook here is a 10-aught from Uncle Lou's, and this is a 10-aught from Catfish Sumo. I mean, you can see quite a bit of difference. The Uncle Lou's hooks are really, really sharp. They got a very wide gap, which is great for bigger baits and your live baits. I am really, really impressed with the hooks from Uncle Lou's. Hey, Brandon, Catfishing Dreams. Hey, Catfish Terry. But I like the extra wide gap on my circle hooks because I like bigger baits. But again, guys, it's all personal preference. Like this is an 8-aught Catfish Sumo. Get it in view. This is an 8-aught Gamakatsu. You can see how much bigger the Gamakatsu is. So, guys, when you buy hooks, different companies size their hooks different. An 8-aught Gamakatsu is not going to be the same size as the 8-aught Catfish Sumo. Pay attention to the wire size, guys. The Catfish Sumo are real heavy wire. And what that means with the heavy wire, it takes more pressure to penetrate that hook through that fish's jaw. The finer wire hooks, like your Gamakatsus and stuff, they will penetrate faster. But I've never had one break one of the Catfish Sumo hooks. I've been going to the Uncle Lou's. The hooks that I get from Uncle Lou's are super, super short or sharp. And I just love them. They penetrate good. Get good hook sets on them. I've even caught several gar. And you all know how the gar takedown, you don't get hooked up. Gar will drive you nuts. But hey, Catfishing Kyle, these hooks from Uncle Lou are so sharp, you will hook the gar up. And guys, you got to match your tackle to whatever kind of fishing you want to do. If you're one of them guys that likes to go out there with the epic hook sets, ripping their lips off and stuff, you don't want a circle hook. Go with a Kale hook or a J hook. If you're like me and you're out there fishing and you're wanting to increase your hookups and miss fewer fish, go with the circle hooks. Uh, they will definitely be a game changer. Uh, with your rods, guys, do the same thing. Match your rod for whatever you're going after. You can go out, and there's lots and lots of rods on the market specific for catfish now. That was not always the case, but now there are tons of companies making catfish rods. So a lot of people ask, what's a good rod? Well, that's going to vary. It's different from person to person. It depends what you're fishing for, what kind of fish you're chasing. Uh, if you are, you know, after trophy catfish, and that's all you're catching is trophy catfish, get like a medium heavy or a heavy action rod. Uh, but if you're catching smaller catfish, you do not want that medium heavy or that heavy action, especially a heavy action rod. You want to go down, excuse me, to a medium action or even a medium light. Because on them medium action rods, you get the right rods like the medium action ugly sticks. They're inexpensive. They're very good rods. They've been around for years. Uh, but you can catch 5 and 6 pound catfish on that medium action rod and still have a blast. You don't want to go out there with tackle so big that it takes all the fight out of the fish. Uh, that's what we're all out there for. We enjoy the fight. Uh, and you got to figure out what kind of fish you're after and what action. Uh, if you ask one guy, he'll tell you Mad Cats are the best rods on the market. Well, you may get the Mad Cats and you may not like them. Try different rods. Uh, Tailor your rod for what you're looking for, as far as backbone, how quick the tip is, how sensitive the rod is. Uh, all of this stuff you have to take into consideration. Uh, buying a new fishing rod is like buying a car. You want to make sure it's something you're happy with and it performs to your expectations. Uh, but there are a lot of great rods out there. They'll all work. They all will catch fish. Uh, if you're just getting into it, I would recommend going with some of the less expensive rods. Like I say, ugly sticks, they're inexpensive. They've been around for years and years. They do handle the bigger fish. They're tried and true. Uh, and then if you decide you like it, you can always upgrade to a better rod. But you don't have to go out there starting out with the best equipment on the market. 25-year-old ugly stick in the eye field. Yeah, Nick. Uh, that's just normal wear and tear. I use my rods a lot, and they will eventually break down, guys. No matter what rod you buy, they're going to do that. I've yet to have an ugly stick rod break. Until that fish takes the All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. StreamYard's giving me some problems. Uh, so, all right, we were talking about rods and stuff. Guys, like I say, match the rod to what you're fishing for. You don't want to go out there with a broomstick and take all the fight out of the fish. Uh, and like I say, you can start off cheap and go to your more expensive rods uh, as you upgrade. Uh, Same thing with your reels, guys. Now, I'm an Abu Garcia guy. I love my Abu Garcia 7000s, but there's guys out there catching them on PC Fun and everything else. It all depends on what you're going after, guys, and what style of fishing you're doing. I like the 7000s because I bank fish. So out there in the water, I'm throwing to get in these water channels and stuff. I may have 100 yards of line out that I've cast out or more. So I need the line capacity. So when that fish takes it and takes a run, I've got the line capacity to where I'm not going to get spooled. This is very important for guys that fish the rivers and the areas that have the big striper in them, because if y'all have never hooked into one of them big striper, they will spool you quick if you're not paying attention. So, hey, Lance, welcome. I like the extra line capacity. I get a lot of questions about the rod length. Guys, it depends what water you're fishing. If you can reach the channels and the deep water from the bank where you fish with ease, that's fine. Hey, Squirrel, welcome. Avid, Miss D. Me, my deep water is way away from the bank. So I would like to use the 10 or 12-foot rods to where it gives me extra casting distance. Fishing from the bank, guys, you'd be surprised what a difference 20 yards would make. You may be on top of a ledge with the 8-foot or 6-foot rod, 8-foot rod, that you can't reach the drop off. And you can go to a longer rod and get that extra casting distance. And you may go from 5 foot of water to 12 foot of water. And a lot of the times, that little extra distance, getting in that deeper water, will produce the fish. If you can hit the water you need to be fishing in and the depths from the bank easy, where you fish, go with the 7'6" rod. It's not going to hurt anything. Hey, Philip Williams, welcome. But know what your rod's capable of and the waters that you're fishing. Same thing with your reels. Guys, if you need line capacity, make sure you get a reel with line capacity. If you're from the boat, it's not near as important and critical with the line capacity, because a lot of the times in the boat, you're not casting that far. And even if a big fish takes the bait and goes to make a run, you can pull anchor and you can chase him. From the bank, you don't have that privilege. You basically have to horse that fish and control him and make that fish go where you want him to, not where he wants to. So remember that when you're picking out your rods, even the action, the length, even the butt, guys, the length of the butt on the rod. Hey, Chrissy Brown, welcome. Even the length of the rod makes a big difference. Me personally, I like the longer butts on the rod because I can tuck them up under my forearm and I can use that to help fight that fish. It gives you more power. And also the longer butt on the rod, the handle, it also helps you cast easier. Heavy action rods come in handy, Avid. Yeah, Avid, I know you got some rods. I don't mind the 10 and 12 foot, but I know you've got some that are like 15 foot. And And if that's what you need to hit that river channel, guys, that's what you need. That's for knowing your body of water, knowing where the channels are from where you're fishing. You've got to know where you're going to be able to fish. Uh, so pay attention to that. So that's got our hooks covered. It's got our rods and our reels. Line. Line is a big topic out there. Uh, you got people, some like mono, some like braid. Where I fish, hey, Robert Andrews, it's a lot of rocks and stumps. If you use braid, it's going to end in a heartache. The waters that I fish, you better have mono. But there are a lot of guys that are in open water. They don't have all that sharp objects and cover, and they can get by with braid. Uh, I've seen guys use braid to get line capacity and tie a mono shock leader on it. Guys, there's all different variants you can use. Figure out which one works for you. I know braid, it has no stretch. Mono has more stretch. Mono's more forgiving, and it has a higher abrasion resistance. It's not going to just break off. 20-pound mono slime line never failed you. Yeah, Lance. Guys, that's another thing too. If you don't need 40-pound test line, don't put that 40-pound test line on there because you're losing castability. You're losing distance. I've used 25-pound Berkley big game for years, and I've caught 50 and 60-pound catfish on it. I have upgraded my lines over the years. I still use Berkley big game, but I've got 40-pound main line, and I've got a 60-pound leader line. And that will handle anything I hook into, guaranteed. Hey, Digabound. I have no problem hooking into a 100-pound fish with that and bringing that fish in. Mono will stretch. One thing I like about the Berkley big game, if it says 25-pound test, guys, it's not going to break at 25 pounds. Berkley big game is super, super strong, and it will exceed its rating. I know 20-pound main line, 30 to 40-pound leader, Berkley big game. Yeah, Berkley big game is all that I use, guys. I've used it for years and years. I know a lot of guys like the Andy, and Andy's good line, but that's something you have to be aware of too. Andy, if it says it's going to break at 20 pounds, you can bet your dollar it's going to break right around that 20-pound mark. To where big game, if it says 20 pound, it's not going to break at 20 pounds. It'll hold a lot more than what it's rated for. Hey, Chad. Hey, Ernie Brown. But, hey, Mr. Duggar, that's another thing, guys. Match your line for what you're fishing. Like I say, if 20 pounds is the biggest fish you're going to catch, even 40 or 50, and you're not in a lot of sticks and rocks and stuff like that, guys, you don't need to have that 40-pound leader line on there or main line. You can drop down to a 25, and you'll gain extra casting distance. Another thing, guys, your weight. If you don't have to have an 8-ounce weight to hold bottom, hey, Dan, don't throw an 8-ounce weight on there. Try and get by with just the minimum what you need. You want the weight to hold bottom, but you don't want to anchor it out there. You're not throwing an anchor. Hey, John Boy, I see a problem with a lot of people. The biggest deal, they'll get their rods out there, and you could use 2 ounces to hold bottom, and they're trying to chunk 10 ounces of lead, and they're anchoring their line out there. And a lot of times, guys, the catfish, you'll get times when they're really finicky. And, hey, Fishing in Freedom, David Smith, welcome. When they bite your hook, and they feel that tension, that resistance of that sinker, even if you're using a no roll, an egg sinker, a sinker slide, something that slides, that weight is still going to add that resistance. And when they feel that, a lot of times they'll drop it. Sometimes you'll get fish when they're really, really finicky. Uh, and then a lot of the times when you run into that, guys, what I'll do is I'll feed them slack. I'll pull off about 18 to 24 inches of slack after, and then engage my reel and let the slack lay there. So that way, when that fish bites that hook, he's got a good 18 to 24 inches he can move before he feels that tension. And with the circle hook, usually once he feels that tension, it's too late. He's already hooked. Hey, Outdoors with Big Matt, welcome. But guys, the same thing with your fishing line. It's all a matter of what you're comfortable with, what you're confident with. But like I say, that's the only problem I have with braid. The waters that I fish, braid will not work for me. But I'm not saying it doesn't work anywhere. There are places braid works fantastic. So kind of pay attention to that, guys. Your sinkers, don't throw more lead than you have to. Hey, Jay Fox Hunter. And guys, your rigs, how you rig up makes a difference. You got your Carolina rig and a Santee Cooper rig are your two most popular. I'm going to show y'all some of the Santee Cooper rigs. Just kind of throwed all this stuff together. I'm going to get it untangled here. It's been bouncing around in the back of the car. Santee Cooper rigs have gotten really big, guys. They're coming on. They do have their purpose, and there is a time when the Santee rig is a phenomenal bait. And a different rig. Now these are the Demon Dragon style floats from Uncle Lou's. And there's several different ways you can rig them. Guys, you can run it through this front eye and just run it through the bottom and lace it through so you can see that line. What that does is it allows you to adjust this. I can come way down here to the hook and be close to where the hook is, or I can slide it up to where it floats and it lets that hook hang down. The best thing like this, guys, is it's fully adjustable. You can take a rubber band and just strap a rubber band around this, and it will still let you move it, but it also keeps it from moving by itself. And you can adjust whatever length you want. If you're not fishing current, guys, and there is no moving water, the Demon Dragons are not really going to help you as far as attraction. They're not going to rattle. They will still float your bait, and that's what we're all after. But you're not going to get the rattling. Another way to rig the Demon Dragons, I'll show y'all real quick, is to tie it solid. You can tie it solid at both ends. I've got the hook coming off the back here, tied with an improved modified clinch knot. And then you've got another line tied to the front up to your swivel. Now this one's not adjustable. Whatever length you tie that leader, that's where it's going to stay at. Versus the other style to where you can adjust it on the go. But then again, that's another thing, guys. The rattle. If you're not fishing current, that rattle is not going to help you. Gotta grab this rig that I lost before I stab myself. Okay, guys, another way to do it, especially if you're fishing in a lot of places, rocks and stumps where you're going to break off, the Demon Dragons get expensive. An alternative to that, and it's fully adjustable,